I'm Julian Void Jacobs, and this is Recall.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of XCW Recall. I'm your host, Blackheart. And this one's a rather large match with a lot of participants. We're going to be taking a look at Julian Void Jacobs' debut at SummerMania, all the way back in 2014 at SummerMania 10, in a tag title table elimination match. A lot of T's. The Revolution, Carnage and James Gerke taking on Dark Carnival, Psycho Circus, and Eternal Darkness. The Tortured Souls, Nightmare and Devil, and of course, Julian Void Jacobs and Jesse Justice, The Ward. Let's take a look at that with Void's commentary.
Tag Team Championships. This is a fatal four-way elimination style table tag match. This unpopular match.
Alright, so the match that we're recalling is from your very first SummerMania. It is 4 teams for the XCW Tag Team Championships. First up is the team of Eternal Darkness and Psycho Circus Clown. They were the Dark Carnival, and believe it or not, this was one of the, if not the longest tenured tag team in XCW history.
How long was it?
Well, I mean, this right here is from 2014, and they were definitely partners up through
27.
I believe 17 or 18.
Because then that's when they put the toaster in the bath with Psycho and killed him off, right?
Yeah, that was in 2018 or 2019. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
God, I remember. Why do I remember those thumbs up, man? Every show.
So, looking back on it now, after almost 10 years, obviously it's going to mean a little different now than it did back then, but what does it mean to you now, knowing that your very first SummerMania ever, you had the opportunity to work with Benji under that mask as Eternal Darkness?
It meant a lot because not only was it Benji, but you also...
Psycho Circus Clown's Chris Jones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, you have two of the best in XCW talent alone right there.
And here comes Carnage and James Gerke, and of course, they were both pretty big influences in your early days in the XCW.
Absolutely, they were.
And you got to work with these guys a lot as a member of the Ward alongside Jesse. So, what did these guys mean to your career nowadays after, being in the company for as long as you have now, looking back? How pivotal were those guys?
When I first started, man, those two were the most... They were honest. But they weren't completely brutal with the constructive criticism. It was easy to take what they said and actually put it towards what you were working towards.
And next coming out is the Tag Team Champions, which is comprised of you and Frantic Jesse Justice. So, looking back now, what does it mean to you to go into your very first SummerMania as the XCW Tag Team Champions? Man, to think that the tag titles are still the exact same that they are today.
Well, I can tell you I probably gained probably 150 pounds from there, so...
What did Jesse Justice do for you early in your career? Because, Jesse was only here just a couple years prior to your debut as well.
And he was a big part. I definitely took a lot of what Jesse said, and he was definitely a big help with, since we were the crazy, we were the Ward.
Right.
He definitely helped in the mindset of being crazy, so.
And then this was the XCW return of Tortured Souls, Nightmare and Devil, which was comprised of Fletch and Hazard under mask and different characters. So not only are you working with Fletch and Hazard, the guys that are pretty much calling the shots in XCW,
yes.
you're also working with Kurt Acid, Benji, and Chris Jones as well on the other side of the masked characters. This is, all in all, a pretty star-studded match for you to kick off your very first SummerMania.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, you can tell my hands are in my pockets. I'm nervous as hell. Like
Jesse didn't even wear his damn Kool-Aid shirt.
He didn't even wear the Kool-Aid shirt. And you know, it's
damn you, Jesse. You make him wear one, and then you don't wear one.
So
how did that conversation go in your early goings of Jesse, like, you know, did Jesse just wear that shirt out and you're like, oh, hey, cool, I have that shirt too. Cool, wear it next show.
That's exactly how it went. It's really, like, dead serious. Like, that's how it went. I think Jesse wore it first, or I did, and it was like, I got that same shirt, and we're like, boom, Kool-Aid shirts. We're both crazy. We're funny.
Jesse had multiple colors too.
Yeah, he had purple, red, orange. I think I only had the orange one at the time. So we were like, that's it, orange. Orange Kool-Aid. And we stuck with it. And then, of course, SummerMania, Jesse no-shows the Kool-Aid shirt.
This is a Fatal 4-Way, but it's not a normal tag team match. This is elimination, but not just any elimination. This is, I believe, table elimination. And you're kicking it off in there with James Gerke, and I assume that was planned ahead of time, as Gerke was very beneficial to your career.
Absolutely, yeah. He really what he said went.
And you immediately tagged out to Jesse, so.
Yeah, I was told not to work too much in the beginning because we were trying to save some energy up for the end.
Do you remember any game plans, any ideas that you guys had going into this match?
I really don't. I really have. It's fun that we're doing this because, you know, when I think of old matches, and especially from back my rookie year, I really don't have any recollection of it. So it's really good to sit back and like rewatch this stuff because it's a fun brain buster for me trying to remember what the hell I was doing.
Jesse Justice is just so innovative, and you know, like he's
methodical.
He's so unorthodox that it makes him that much more unique. That, you know, like, he's fun to watch because you really don't. He's just not your average wrestler.
Yeah, you don't know what he's gonna do from one time to the next. I'll tell you what, man, wrestling on those mattresses was so awkward. Now that we have a ring, like now that we've had a ring for the last like 5 years now, like there's just no.
Feel free to share your experiences on the dreaded mattresses.
I got my first concussion from doing a Heartstopper elbow in another, not this exact tag, I don't think it was this one, but it was another tag match. I went to do with my Heartstopper elbow, and I fell into the crack of one of the two mattresses, and my head hit dirt. I ended up with a concussion from it.
Not only did Carnage just tag you in, but he gave you a chop. I'm sure that felt great.
Oh yeah, of course. Mm-hmm.
There's that Heartstopper elbow I was just talking about. This time you landed on the mattress, so that's good. Look at you throwing leg drops.
I know. Good old-fashioned showstopper. You know, it's so hard for me to do the showstopper because it's just so hard to... Oh my God. Fucking killed him.
Lunar bomb from hell. And this is the first time that Nightmare is in the match. And Nightmare and Devil, I know that it's masked characters and stuff, but honestly, if you look back into the annals of XCW, they were such a big deal.
They were.
And it's not just because it was Fletch and Hazard that were behind those people.
Not.
Like, those characters they had very, well-told stories. They were very integral and all the aspects of XCW, and they were taken very seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't comedic until the very end, right? Yeah. And then that was, I believe, the point where
Nightmare Unmasked, and then they kind of
was that where I went down into the dungeon and saw the whole.
Yes.
Yeah. That was 2015, right? The beginning of 2015.
I think so. Something like that. Yeah.
still surprised to see that maneuver, Brendan. It's painful wrong.
Looks like Nightmare's going for the Wasteland.
Yep. You know that middle mattress was always the worst one to land on because you never knew.
Like everybody wanted to land on it because it was the double padded one, but it was actually the worst one.
Yeah, because all the springs were dead, and you just like no matter what movie you took.
Well, if you look real closely between the middle mat and the one on the left side, which everybody can see on their screen right now.
Yes.
All those springs are actually sticking out the side.
Yes, that is true. So
and
yeah,
then the bottom right hand corner, same thing.
Yeah. And what a lot of people also probably don't know is the amount of cuts that we would have and bleeding because those springs, we would land on like a suplex or something and we would just immediately get cut.
Well, we have an elimination. Eternal Darkness, Psycho Circus Con, first one's out, so now it's down to the Ward, the Revolution, and Tortured Souls. Now you're back in there with Gurky. I know that you say you don't really remember a lot of, planning and stuff for this match, but it seems like it might have been calculated for you to work mostly with Gurky.
Yeah, I think it was because our feud with Revolution was so heavy at the time.
And all of you were fairly new. I mean, James Gurky I think he'd been there since 4 years at the time. Carnage had only been there maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
He was a referee in his first.
That's true.
Jesse had only been there since 11 or 12. And then yourself, this was your first year in XCW. So.
Yeah. And this was my rookie year, and you can definitely tell the growth from then to now with me and just my energy level in the ring. And
so obviously you take the fall for the team to eliminate them. This would, of course, pretty much end the feud with you guys and the Revolution as they looked forward to working Tortured Souls going in till the later part of the season. Of course, Spooky season kind of takes place after SummerMania, so it made sense for the Tortured Souls to be in this position. What's your thoughts looking back now after all these years of you taking the fall for the team and then pretty much having to sit out the rest of your match on your very first SummerMania?
Yeah, it's not a fun feeling.
But being new,
it made sense because, I think we got those tag titles in like my 4th or 5th actual show.
And by the end of this year, you're working in
singles and
you're in the Money in the Bank.
That's true, yeah.
With the Void face and.
Yeah, my most infamous moment of my career. But it's well worth it. Because I take that moment. I laugh at it now, but that moment was very pivotal in my career because I learned where I needed to be. I just ring awareness in general. It just taught me to keep that mindset.
Well, just like we talked about, you're in there with Chris and Benji and Fletch and Hazard, and then you had James Gurky as kind of a mentor at the time. The only one you really didn't have a whole lot with is Carnage in this match. So looking back on it now, it's probably even more special than it was then because you're just a kid trying to figure it out at this point.
100%. Yeah, Carnage was and that's another thing about Carnage is he was one of the bigger ones that if I had a bad match, he's like, hey man, that was rough. Like, look at A, B, and C and try to take X, Y, and Z and replace that and make it better. And then on days where I'd have a really good match, he'd be like, hey, that was good. Like, here's something you could have still improved on, but overall it was still good. And that was very important as well.
And I think it is tough that you do need guys like Carnage in the locker room because the guys that you would want to hear from the most, the Fletches, the Kurt Acids, and the Hazards, and everybody of the world, you're not going to get a lot of feedback from them because of their tenure and their positions in the company, you're not going to have as much time to sit down and talk with them.
You also have egotistic, or you have the egos where it's like, you're a new guy, you know, I've been here, I deserve the spot I'm in, I don't want to get the new guy up here. You're just going to take my spot, and I'm not okay with that. And that's not a mindset that vets really need to have. It's really not.
So were you happy with the decision after this SummerMania where you and Jesse would finally depart from each other and you would focus more on singles? Because you did work a little singles prior to this. You had a short little rivalry with Grim Reaper and stuff. So,
correct.
Coming out of this, were you happy that you were leaving the tags behind, that you were going to get the opportunity to shine on your own?
Yes and no. Yes, because I was looking forward to, you know, future endeavors and, you know, of course not knowing where my career was going to where it is now, but yes, to the point of I was ready to experience new things, and no to the point where me and Jesse, I feel, did work really well together. I feel like we had a great tag run. Maybe it could have lasted a little longer, but overall, the way my career's panned out over the years, I wouldn't change it. Not now.
So, looking back at this match for the very first time in 10 years, nearly, what do you think?
I was horrible. I was absolutely awful. But that's another reason why I was put in there with Kurt Acid, you, Roddy, is because you guys wanted to. For some reason, you guys saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and you were like, "We're gonna get you there." And you guys were hell bent on working with me. And you guys, as a collective group, got me to where I needed to be.
And the rest is history. Here we are 10 years later. Most of those guys are gone, and you're still here.
Yeah, I'm still a mainstay, you know? And knock on wood, I haven't dealt with too many major injuries, and God, I pray that stays the same. I really do. I'm scared now that I said something about that.
Well, Void and Jesse Justice, unfortunately, not successful in winning the Tag Team Championships at SummerMania 10, but it's Void. He'd have way more opportunities to be successful at SummerMania in the 10 years that followed. So, thank you for watching this edition of Recall, ladies and gentlemen. For everybody here